Hey, how's your growth company mindset doing? Have you upgraded it recently? This is something I noticed in some of the entrepreneurs, founders, that when you've been going through the hard stuff of building your company from the ground zero, usually by yourself or with a few buddies, and you have a really limited amount of resources, and most of the work is put by you and maybe a bunch of other people very close to you, is very tangible. The input output is easy to see, and there's not too much to worry about complexities in the business. But when you start to grow, you have more people, there are more processes, the chain of value creation becomes a bit more complex. It's easy to forget to upgrade your mindset as well, because there's this thing called opportunity cost. What could you be doing with the time and the resources you have alternatively? So when you're doing something, what are you missing? What are the things you're not actually doing because you're focusing on something else? Or if you're spending time on certain things which are not actually building the most value, creating most of the value to customers and increasing the value of your company, then maybe there's something else you should be doing. And I don't mean by any offense when I'm saying that lifestyle business is something which is like, well, it says it all. It's a lifestyle business. It's not a growth company per se. And if you want to build a growth company, then you need to be in the constant, continuous, uncomfortable zone of going really fast. And most of the things are a bit lacking behind, not by design, but because you're growing so fast. And this means that you need to adjust your mindset as well, as a founder, as the leader, to do things in the right order and focus on those things which are building the future. Looking ahead, you have to start to look not just weeks ahead, but maybe quarters ahead. Also look the next coming years. Think about more in a long term. And the other aspect, which is really important, is actually the scalability. The things you're doing, you just cannot put resources on things which are not scaling, because if you have 100 times more orders coming in, 100 times more support requests, 100 times whatever it is, those things may not scale what you have at this point. And I have noticed that this type of founder, I do it all by myself. I don't really count my hours type of mindset. It doesn't scale. You just cannot do that. And there's another aspect to that as well, which is the cost aspect. You cannot just look the cash flow. How's the cash flow going? Do we have money in the bank today? You have to start to think about contributing margins, variable costs, fixed costs, so that you're not losing money when you're growing. These sound like simple things, even boring things, something which anyone coming out of a business school should have a pretty good, decent understanding. But it's easy to forget those things. It's easy to be stuck on that mindset when you're building your company. And this is just my reminder and notice that please stop for a while, think about where you're with your company at this point. What would you need to do differently if you would have 10 times, 100 times more orders, sales? How are the processes coping? How are you going to do that? How do you want to achieve that? Maybe you should dream a bit as well. How I'm going to have those things next year, in 2 years' time. And in order to build that thing, what does it take? How can I achieve that? And if it helps, start from the end point where you already have achieved that. Okay, now I have 100 times more sales, orders, whatever aspect you're looking at. And then put it backwards. If it's like, for example, 2 years' time, maybe you double in the second year. So now you have half the growth parameters what you need in the end of the first year, and then you coming back to this point and you think, okay, how am I gonna, is it once again, well, what's the growth I need and what are the steps? So play around with the numbers, play around a bit with the ideas, scenarios, how you're going to do that. It's evident that the world doesn't exactly work how you plan, but it's better to plan and be prepared. And my main point is that when you stop and think about those things, you can start to see things which are not really scaling. Those pit holes, those thresholds, those parts of your processes, those parts of your system which will hit the limit and slow you down. And if you do that beforehand, it's easier to avoid and really hit your targets when you need them. Till next time.